Let's talk a little bit about appraisals. If you are new to the home buying process, and if you're using a lender, undoubtedly you're going to hear about an appraisal, the house being appraised to make sure it's worth what you are paying for it. Now, an appraisal is not to be confused with an assessment. So the county or the city in which the house has been built, they assign to it an assessed value for tax purposes. More often than not, that assessment will be a little bit lower than what it could actually be sold for. Now, there's no direct proportion, no direct ratio typically between the assessed value and the actual value. Some people have told me over the years, well, I understand the real value is 10% more than the assessment. Well, sometimes it is. We've come across houses that are worth 20% more, 30, 40% more than the assessed value. We've come across houses that are worth 10 or 20 or 30% less than the assessed value. So an assessment is a stab at what the value is for tax purposes, for the city or county to figure out how much to tax a person, and they try to stay a little low most of the time. An appraisal, on the other hand, is when a man or a woman is hired to do a detailed study of houses like the one you're considering that have actually sold. And the house they're appraising, they'll add value to it. If that house has something that some of these others didn't that sold recently, typically within the last 6 months to a year, and they will subtract value from the house they're appraising if the other ones had some features that this subject property does not. When a realtor lists a house for sale, more often than not, that man or woman will do research much like an appraiser will. They'll look at comparable sales to arrive at the value. That being said, sometimes a house is sold and the appraiser can't prove it's worth as much as it's being sold for. Sometimes it'll appraise for more than it's being sold for. But if you're getting a loan to buy a house, the bank will insist that an appraisal be done. They want to make sure it's worth what you're paying for it, and that's good for you. If you're getting a loan that doesn't require an appraisal, or you're paying cash for a house, you don't have to have an appraisal done. You can still do it if you would like to. You can even make your contract subject to you having an appraisal and getting proof that it's worth what you are paying for it. So there's a stark difference between an appraisal and an assessment. They're not the same, and it's a term that you'll want to make sure you're using correctly when you are buying a house.